There is absolutely nothing like this in a game that was really a must-win for Montreal. Every single player stepped up. I can only show goals from some of them. Suzuki, Slafkovsky, Caufield, the entire young core. Carrier getting it done, but maybe most importantly, Josh Anderson standing tall against Tom Wilson, showing him who is the boss in this series, making the Capitals bend and break and showing them who the better team truly is. There is a lot we got to dive into. There is nothing quite like watching Habs hockey like this. We got to talk about all of this on this episode of Habs Digest, and we're going to jump straight into it. Now, the first thing we got to talk about was, of course, the lineup changes. We'll be getting to the more highlights and stuff as we get on in this video, but you know what? If you are pumped about this win, subscribe for free down below, because we're here after every single Habs win. A little later tonight, sorry about that, I had some other things you can see, but you know, we're coming back. We're still getting these videos out late at night, nearly midnight, doesn't matter. I'm here for you guys. Jesse is as well. This is unbelievable stuff. Look, Oliver Kapanen and Arber Xhekaj, they drew into the lineup tonight, and honestly, they looked good. I mean, look, Xhekaj did have a turnover at one point. You can debate whether he was hooked or not. That led to a goal, and of course, came in as a +1 on the night, though, and still logged 10 minutes, which is actually more than Jayden Struble logged last game. Honestly, let me know your opinion of these lineup changes down below. The Habs power play arguably looked the most dangerous it's looked in a while without Patrik Laine on it. I'm not going to use this opportunity to keep going in on Patrik Laine because I don't think that's fair, but regardless, this Montreal team knew what they needed to do, and, well, they did it well. But there's a bunch of stuff we got to talk about here. One of the big stories coming out of this game, of course, was the goaltending change, as Monty seemed to have an issue with his left leg. Well, you know, it's pretty confirmed he had an issue with his left leg, as Xhekaj had to make that surprise appearance. And doesn't this remind you of some other surprising Habs goaltenders to get some run in the playoffs? I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. We'll see when Monty's good to go again, but Xhekaj came in, did his job, only allowed the one goal, and honestly, not much he could have done on it, but he's the third goalie in Canadiens history to earn a playoff win in a relief appearance. The others, Roger Vachon and Charlie Hodge. Dobesh and Hodge both did it in their playoff debut. Pretty amazing, and they shared a hug, Doby and Montembeault, after the game, with a nice cameo from Ivan Demidov there as well. Just such an interesting story in this game that Elliot Friedman put so eloquently as simply absolute cinema, posting that gif. It was an insane game. There are so many places I could go with this, so why not just roll the highlights again? I mean, you know what? I could talk about a bunch of things. I don't even have the new hook goal in here because I can only fit a certain amount of clips in here. Still hoping that hopefully NHL doesn't come after this again, but regardless, making these clips very short, Carrier getting the party started there was a big moment here, honestly, in this game. Slafkovsky, Suzuki, and Caufield, though, I gotta shout them out. Our boy Slavzilla walking around. Our boy Super Cole Caufield. I don't have a Suzuki animation. Yes, I know Caufield's still wearing number 22 there, but it's a retro animation, and we kind of rock with those, right? But honestly, everything there was great, and I actually am going to play this again so we can see Slafkovsky's goal, and so we can go see Caufield's goal again. This one here, that pinch from Lane Hutson, also was absolutely unbelievable, and if you look at the thumbnail, those three goals there, oh, it's unbelievable. Look, that picture of Hudson, Demidov, Suzuki, Slafkovsky, and Caufield, that is the future of the Montreal Canadiens right there, and they combined to have an absolutely insane game. You needed to use this home ice advantage to your advantage, and Montreal did exactly that. Coming out 6-3 is not an easy feat. Like, 6 goals is one of the most goals in a Habs home playoff debut in, like, their entire history. I think it's like 7th or 8th most ever, something like that. Crazy stuff, and the fact that every single player got into this was unbelievable, not just scoring wise. You know, I wish Ivan could have got his first playoff point. He could have maybe gotten one on that Suzuki goal, but let's be honest, it was a turnover from John Carlson, forced by Juraj Slafkovsky. You're not going to give that to Ivan Demidov. But even Armia getting an assist. Caufield, career high 11 shots on goal. With Laine out, it was on Caufield to do the scoring, and sure enough, he did, thanks to Lane Hutson as well, getting another assist. Carrier doing well. Mike Matheson, just gotta say it, one of his best game, probably his best game of the playoffs so far. There was a couple of moments of panic, but honestly, like, I thought Mike Matheson had a great game. And look, you guys know I'm a Mike Matheson truther. It is what it is. But look, you know, this game would have been nothing. I could talk about the goals forever. I mean, I'm showing them. There's a million things I could talk about. But while I will get back to that in a second, I got to, before we get too late in this video, discuss the physicality. Arber Xhekaj being in this lineup, even if, you know, we say he only played 10 minutes, he had a turnover that led maybe to a goal, he had 4 hits this game, right? The only people who had more on the team were Brendan Gallagher with 5, Emil Heineman with 5, and then Josh Anderson with 6, so the whole team was really hitting tonight. But look at that, 4 hits, and he was getting into it, 2 penalty minutes, and he was really, really trying to rough up the Washington Capitals. But the big guy I got to talk about is Josh Anderson. This scrap in the bench, Josh Anderson just saying, look, I played this way my whole career. I'm not about to stop now. And look, I mean, he made Tom Wilson very, very sad. And if you notice in the thumbnail, usually we got the Habs Digest logo at the top left. I encourage you to go back, head to the channel page, and take a look at who's actually up there. Might just be this guy. Look, made him look like a fool, honestly. Tom Wilson, look, he's a lot stronger than me. He'd probably beat the crap out of me. I'm not gonna, front and say like, oh yeah, I beat the crap. No, absolutely, he would destroy me. But bit of a fake tough guy, if you ask me, at the NHL level. Flopped on an Anderson cross-check last game, and this is the face that he made after Anderson absolutely tore him to shreds in the Capitals' own bench. We got in their heads. Like, the Habs fans were in everyone's heads, right? We were yelling, Thompson, Thompson, the whole night. It was unbelievable. Now, unfortunately, of course, on that Slafkovsky goal, if we can play that back, Dylan Strome does crash into his own goaltender. If you go take a look at that, we're going to play that again. If you were focused on Slafkovsky, take a look at Dylan Strome. Bang. That was about, maybe half as hard as, when Suzuki viciously slashed down, of course, and got the penalty when Rasmus Sandin's stick. How dare he hit Logan Thompson's head? But the physicality from tonight, from whether it be Josh Anderson or Arber Xhekaj, was a big difference maker. Something that myself and Jesse were talking about a lot, like, that physicality difference can make other teams play you differently, and that really was the case tonight. Washington was on the back foot most of this game. Montreal came out flying, and they never really stopped. I mean, it was a bit of a back and forth game, but I never felt like this game was in danger. I just felt like from the very get-go, as soon as we got out 1-0, I was like, this is going to be a win. The Habs are absolutely dominating. The shots were like 21-10 at one point. I don't even know what they finished with, but the Capitals only finished with 21 shots total, and the Habs had 21 shots, I think, halfway through the second period. And, like, the Capitals were getting some chances, but the Habs were crushing them in high-danger chances all night long. The goal scoring was coming from every single source. Alex Newhook, I wish I had that goal. Look, I have the animation, I think. Please tell me I have the animation. Yeah, I do. Look, I know we like to clown on and make fun of him for never being able to hit the net, but the fact he got a goal here was absolutely unbelievable. Cayden Guhle doing his physical best. Leighton Hudson leading the entire team in ice time. Hudson, and then Matheson, and then Nick Suzuki. And, oh, captain, my captain, like, how much can we possibly praise Nick Suzuki? I mean, not only was he involved on so many crucial plays, that top line being the best line of the game. Look at oh my gosh, everything watching here. But then the Suzuki goal right here, forcing the turnover from Juraj Slafkovsky. Slafzilla's been one of our best players this entire series. Alex Carrier, the Quebecois, even this little cheeky goal from Christian Dvorak. It's like, the thing we kept saying is we need the depth scoring. And I know some people are going to use this opportunity to say, oh, look, without Laine, we did so much better. I think if Laine was in the lineup, maybe we would have even had a better game. Though I will say, the Ivan Demidov on PP1 looks lethal already. Look, I know, like, we had some power play time. Maybe Demidov didn't get his point there, whatever. But I will say, man, that first power play, when a team is a bit more unpredictable and they have more options, that's what makes a power play dangerous, man. Like, seeing Demidov there out there with Caufield and Slafkovsky and Suzuki and Hudson just made me realize like how much potential there really is for this power play going into the future. And don't forget, this is a power play unit that literally has not had any game time together coming into tonight's game. It has been Laine, but even this power play, sometimes Demidov looked like he was going to shoot. Suzuki there on the bumper, we got Slav in front of the net, Hudson might shoot from the point, and Caufield might shoot as well. It's no longer like, okay, let's wait till we pass the Laine. This power play looked dynamic. The passing was better. It looks different. And honestly, even if it's objectively whatever, if it proves longer term to be better or not better, it doesn't matter. Having a difference, especially in a playoff series when a team is prepared to just go against the team they know for a 7-game series, having that kind of difference, that kind of dynamicism, adding a guy like Ivan Demidov into that power play can really change a lot of looks. And again, he still doesn't have a point in the playoffs, but I notice him every time he's out there. But honestly, I noticed everyone tonight. I need you guys to leave some love for absolutely every single player on the Montreal Canadiens, because this is the kind of performance that we know we can have. We made the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference look like an 8 seed tonight. If you had just started watching this series tonight, you'd think Montreal is that 1 seed gonna win this series. Like, we're going back to Washington. It's guaranteed at this point. It's just a matter of whether Montreal can build on this momentum and get another win Sunday. You know the Capitals are going to be upset, but I think we're in their head. I can't wait to see how this goes. Leave some love, leave some thoughts, all of that down below, because that'll do it for this episode of Habs Digest. And hey, apologies again for having it a bit more delayed than usual. Had some stuff come up, but you know what? We're here for you. Myself and Jesse, we plan to be here a little earlier for every single other playoff game. Thank you for supporting us every single day. I've been your host, Josh Gosse, and I cannot wait to catch you in the next one.